What's up, Wolfman fans? It's been a long time since my last video, and that's okay. I've honestly been really busy with work. Had every day that I do get a day off, which actually I've had a number of days off. I've still had to work. But anyway, anytime I usually get a day off is a day that I end up spending running around all over the place doing this, that, and the other for whatever reason. And I'm not. That's not to say that it's bad reasons that I do that I am running around doing this stuff. I get to, I went and spent Easter with my family, both my wife's family and mine, which I guess makes it my family as well, since she is my wife after all. But that was a good day. It was fun. I did get to go see a Rangers ball game. Unfortunately, they lost to the Angels. It was a sad day. But that was for a friend's birthday, and it was pretty fun. I did get to go to a concert, a local concert. It was a country music. Jason Boland. He came to the local bar in my town, the Mule Barn, and that was pretty fun. That was pretty cool. My wife, I don't think, believed that I was really having a great time, because I was pretty tired. I left from work and went straight there, and I just had a very long day, so I didn't feel like I was enjoying it either, honestly, but it was cool. It was fun. Being able to spend time with friends is really nice. But the work, there's a lot of work. Gotta make that money. Gotta survive. And for any of you out there who think that life sucks because you work too hard and that's all you do is work and barely survive, well, that's just life. And just keep in mind you're not alone. Just keep working. Good things will happen. And even if those good things aren't like a change in career or something to that effect, where you start making crap tons of money, upwards of 6 figures or so, which good luck. A lot of us are lucky to make 5 figures. But even if it's not that changes, and there's going to be a quality of life thing, I think, for a lot of us. There's going to be things that are you're going to do within your life in those that time off that you do get whenever it does come around, moments that you're going to enjoy a lot more, and you're going to remember, and it's going to make things worth it. Things are going to be okay. Things are going to be good. I've had people ask me, do you ever wish you stayed in? And for the paycheck, yes. I was making pretty good money. It didn't seem like it at the time, and for those of you who are still in, the grass ain't greener. It looks that way, but it's spray painted. So, give it a week or two and the grass is going to be dead. That's about how it is. Really, in all honesty, in the Army, you're making pretty good money, especially if you stick with it. Insurance is provided and stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of things, being that I was in the Army from such a young age, I really didn't have a lot of experience in the civilian world before the Army. I didn't realize how good I had it as far as, again, paycheck, insurance, and all that kind of stuff. You don't realize how much that stuff comes in handy in life, and how badly you need it until you don't have it, or until it's coming directly out of your paycheck, much more than it is for the Army. Believe me, it comes out a lot more, and things are just more difficult. I mean, we get around it, we make it work. It is, and it's not a big deal. I mean, it is, but it isn't. We survive. We all make it. And I think the part that makes it easier to deal with is knowing that we're not the only ones dealing with it. Oh. But overall, do I miss the Army? I miss a lot of my friends. Yeah, I do miss that. But you know what I don't miss? I don't miss having to get up at the butt crack of dawn to go do PT and run 6 miles in the cold. Because some first sergeant decided that in the wintertime running in shorts would be better than running in your winter PT gear, and running 6 miles back and forth up and down hills because some hot to trot infantry guy who can't stop talking about how he used to be infantry wants to show off how in shape and how much he runs and all that kind of stuff, and wants to put everybody else through the ringer, even though you're aviation. I don't miss that. Honestly, I've never liked running. I hated running in my entire life, and I'm glad I don't have to really do it anymore. I will run as far as like a quick sprint from, from point A to point B if it's required, if it's necessary. But I do not just go on runs just for the sake of running or for even the sake of exercise and getting healthier, because screw that. Running sucks. I mean, you're just out of breath and your feet hurt, your back hurts, and just it's a mess. And for those of you who like running, hey, you can have it. You can have fun doing it. I won't stop you. Just as long as you don't sit there and try to bring me with you, or sit there and try to talk smack about, how I should go running with you and I'm lazy or something like that, because then I'm just going to punch you in the nose. No amount of running is going to stop your nose from getting broken by somebody who's tired of listening to your bullshit. So, anyways, but no, I don't miss that. Look, I'm sitting here at 2 a.m. on my porch, listening to the sounds of crickets, with a beard. Pretty nice beard too. It's pretty full. Actually, I need to trim it. I'm not trying to get the ZZ Top look going on. I try to keep my beard fairly trimmed. But my days off don't quite mesh up with my wife's days at work, so it's a little more difficult for me to get in there and get my hair cut. And you may ask yourself, you might find yourself, Ben, why don't you just go after work or before work, depending on my schedule? And that's because my schedule half the time really doesn't allow it. My wife is off the same days I am, and the day I go back to work, for that day and the next 2 days after that, I go in at between noon and 1 at my first job, and I work till between 8:30 and 9:30, depending on which day it is. I come home from there, get a quick bite to eat, and then go to my next job, which I work from like 11:15 p.m. to 4 in the morning. So naturally, when I get off there, I'm going to come back here, maybe get some food in me, take a shower, and go to bed and get ready for the next day. So by the time I wake up, and it's time to get dressed and get out the door and get to work. So it's really hard to fit a haircut time in there. But hey, another good part of being out of the Army, I ain't got to worry about that. Nobody, excuse me, nobody's going to yell at me. I'm not going to get in trouble for having my hair a little too long or having not shaved. Or you know how much time in the morning you save by not having to shave? You don't think it's a lot. You really don't really think about that. But man, it saves some time, let me tell you. But anywho's, but no, I don't regret the fact that I got out. I'm not, get out of my face, you stupid moth. One of the bad things about, almost anywhere this time of year, hold on, my camera's messing up here, okay. Anyways, about anywhere this time of year is bugs. They are everywhere, and my porch light is on, which means I'm attracting every bug within a 2-mile radius of my house. And for some reason, why is it, guys? Can anybody answer me this one? I don't know what it is. Every bug that's attracted to a light, like a moth or a June bug or something like that, can't fly for crap. They fly so stupidly. Moths have no direct path anywhere they go. They fly in figure eights everywhere. And if that's even that may just be the minimum they do. June bugs are horrible. They've got the most ungainly flight ever, and they slam into something full speed, and 9 times out of 10 they kill themselves on impact. It's like the worst conceived bug ever. I don't even know what they do for the environment. When you think about everything in this, everything naturally has a purpose that it serves. Spiders eat bugs, so they control different bug populations in one way or another. Snakes do the same for rodent populations and stuff like that, and the ecosystem kind of balances itself out that way. Well, I'm still trying to figure out where exactly June bugs fall into that, because as of yet I have not figured it out. To me, they just seem like the dumbest creature ever. This is a creature that should not exist at all. And I'm kind of feeling like its disappearance might not harm anything. It might not change a thing in this world or in nature at all by the disappearance of June bugs. Maybe they exist primarily just to be, some other animal's food, which I think is a bit ridiculous. Let's have a stupid creature that serves no other purpose other than to be eaten. Now, you could say the same for cows or sheep or something like that, but they have other purposes. Cows, actually, I've known this, a lot of people that have cows that they've raised as pets, and they think actually not bad pets. They keep the grass mowed if you've got a decent sized field to keep them in, and they poop and fertilize the lawn. They have a lot of benefits, and then when you kill them, you could have a lot of meat. And if you use everything, they've got the leather you can get from cowhide. And you see where I'm going with this. June bugs have no purpose like that. They just eat plant roots and leaves, and then they kill themselves or get eaten. And it's just dumb. I don't get them. A lot of times, if you see parts in your patches in your yard where it's all green and you see this nice little brown patch, it's usually because they're June bug larva, a grub worm, is under there eating the roots and killing it. I don't see the purpose. Hey, look at me! I've gotten off track again and gotten off topic. Don't you guys miss that? Anyways. No, I don't really miss the Army. I do miss my friends, and there was a sense of purpose, and I think that's actually one thing that led me to make the decision that I did to get out. I had lost my sense of purpose, and I just didn't care anymore. And there's a lot of people out there that can. If some of you guys don't understand that, and that's fine. I don't expect you to. But given the reasoning I went in to serve my country, for the purpose of serving my country, and going to war. Because in 2004, the war was still hopping and popping. Things were still hot overseas. My brother likewise went off to fight in 2003. And that was what we were doing. I had friends of mine that dropped out of high school to go join the Army and go fight. That was just it wasn't the same kind of thing as like World War II or something like that, but we all remember September 11th, and we all remember the fall of the World Trade Center. We remember that, and I can almost liken it to Pearl Harbor and the effect it had. There was a mass surge of patriotism, and so many people joined up, and we all had the same idea. We were going to go, kick some Al-Qaeda ass. That was the idea. But after a while, some of the illusion wore off, and I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have you've seen either documentaries or things on your news feed about just weird things in of the political nature, and a lot of it having to do with the Middle East and what's going on over there, and things that just seem sketchy, and things seems like there's a lot of unanswered questions. I won't go into any specifics, but it seems like there's a lot of questions, and yeah, it could just be skepticism by other people. They trying to make it, because they don't believe in it, they could be trying to just make it seem like it isn't worth it, like everything over there is just a big lie, because they don't believe in it, so they want to try to force other people to believe the same way they do. Then that could be a fact, and that could be absolutely not true. But I think the minute we started having doubts that we just couldn't get around is when a lot of us started losing faith. And not so much in losing faith in the country, just in what exactly, maybe losing faith isn't the right way to put it. Questioning, that's a good way. We start questioning exactly what we were doing and why we were doing it. And when you start questioning what you're doing and why you're doing it, and you go, for months and sometimes years, without being able to find an answer, or at least a definitive one. You think you may run across a few answers that you think you found the answer, and it turns out maybe you overlooked something. You need to go back and think about it again, because you weren't right the first time. When you run into that situation, it's time to move on. And that's kind of where I was sitting with the Army. And a lot of different factors were playing into this, honestly. I was questioning what exactly we were doing over there. I was questioning if we are supposed to be an army, a fighting force, in defense of this nation. Why weren't we doing a defensive stuff? We were doing offensive stuff. Against people who at this point, later on down the road, I'm not talking during Saddam Hussein regime, anything like that. I'm talking about, 2013, 2014, but, what was it? These people can't, they have not the ability to come send over a ICBM or something and hit us or invade our shores. And you could argue, well, they're being real deceptive and they're sending people over to commit terrorist acts. Well, they're doing that anyway, and it's not like we're stopping them not from doing that. Our focus is over there in their home country, and we're honestly, I have to say it, a lot of times it seems like we're just harassing the local population, not intentionally. It's not like we're going there and just picking fights with them, but just our presence is annoying, an occupying force. And you know what? I'm not trying to say that anything I've done that I regret it. I'm quite proud of my service, and quite proud of having been able to serve with the people that I served with, and great men and women, honorable people, and I would definitely do it again. But I had to admit that I wasn't sure anymore. And a lot of this really came to a head at my last duty station. We were on a rear detachment instead of being deployed, and I started questioning a lot of stuff. And then why was all the problems that we see socially in the civilian world, the transgender thing, the people who are just easily offended about this, that, and the other. We saw it in the military too. We weren't safe from it. You'd think that the military had a way it operated, and it would function a certain way for a certain reason, and there was no two ways about it. You would think that'd be the case, but the fact is, it was changing too, and I didn't think it was for the better. Now, I'm not saying that I don't think women should go into combat. You want to see the effectiveness of that, look no further than Israel. Israel has a lot of female infantry, and they are badasses. Now, different culture, I will grant you. The culture that American women grow up in isn't the same And so there's a different aspect of there's a different personality aspect to it. So it may not be the same thing. They kind of, but that's for them to work around themselves, and it's for the military to adjust that, and that's what we used to do. But it's getting harder to do that because people are getting too upset about things now. They're getting offended, you know. For the non-commissioned officers, that's sergeants, anything from sergeant up to sergeant major. These guys, their main task, their main purpose is to train, motivate, and discipline soldiers, or sailors, or Marines, or airmen, whatever. But that was their job: train, motivate, and discipline. Well, training is done inadequately now because the focus was more on check the block, get it out of the way, get back on with daily life. Discipline went down the drain because where at one time you could, you know, a guy messed something up and you could give him a punishment by making him do push-ups or something like that, which honestly was a preferred method. And the reasoning is kind of twofold. One, you're making the kid stronger. PT's free. He gets free exercise. But two, you know, there's no paper trail. You know, all he did is he learned from pain. Humans, by all nature, by all accounts, we're animals. Come on, the same thing affects us as any other. You know, as a dog, as your pet. Pain, pleasure, such as sex. Let's be honest, and food. You know, well, you're gonna get food every day with the Army. There's no question about it. You're gonna get food. Pleasure. We reward with pleasure. So pleasure is a good incentive, but sometimes it's not good enough. You really can't always bank on that's going to work out. And you certainly can't promise sex out of for these guys if they do something good. That's not something you can promise because that's going down another bad path there in many different ways. But the next is pain. So you give them pain. Pain is a quick way to understanding. You know, just like when you're a kid, you that's how you learned. You stick that fork in the light socket, see what happens. Zap. Oh well, that hurt, didn't it? Well, don't do it again, and you remember not to do it again because it hurt. That's why a lot of kids from my age and before me, we were spanked growing up because pain was a quick way to that understanding of whatever we did was wrong, and you know that was a punishment, and we learned from it. Sometimes we didn't. Let's be honest. Many of us were just a bunch of little shits back in the day. But anyway, we can't do that anymore because pain is now considered to be hazing. Kids were getting their feelings hurt because Sergeant made them do push-ups. Why'd you make him do push-ups? Well, you know, he messed this up or did this or this, and well, you need to give him paperwork. Well, see, that's the other part of it, leaving a paper trail. You give him paperwork, and it could, you know, worst case scenario, if it happens a couple more times, this kid could be up for a Article 15, non-judicial punishment, you know, and he could lose rank, he could lose pay, he could lose, you know, his free time, you know, end up doing extra duty, and, you know, worst case scenario, he ends up getting, you know, kicked out of the Army, patterns of misconduct, stuff like that, because he just didn't learn from it. And because we wanted to be soft and we wanted to just give them lollipops. I'm sorry, a piece of paper that you make a kid sign is not effective. They just sign it willy-nilly and go about their day like whatever. That didn't have an immediate effect on them, so it didn't matter. That's how a lot of people think. There's a psychology behind it. But anyway, that's kind of going down a long trail that I could go on honestly for a long time, but that's a part of that culture, that new culture that I was sitting there questioning. What the hell are we doing? You know, we're going overseas to fight fight for questionable reasons. You know, I'm not even sure anybody knows why we're fighting anymore. and we're going over there with questionably trained people. And to be honest, I didn't want a part of that. I felt like my time had come and gone, and I served with some very honorable people, many of which are still in service now. And God be with you guys. What's the best for you guys and all your future endeavors. And it was my pleasure to have served with you guys. It was an honor. But again, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. So what I considered to be my option: get out, focus on me and my own. That's me and my household, my wife, and myself, and possibly kids in the future if that ever happens. And that's what I'm doing. I don't regret the decision, and I'm quite enjoying life. And I hope for all you guys who don't seem to know where you're going in life or what the future might hold, don't just sit there and wallow in that not knowing and sit there and constantly worry yourself to death about it. Do something about it. Sometimes it requires an extreme change, an extreme adjustment in life. You got to change your circumstances. Sometimes maybe you just need to change your outlook. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. And don't think that you're weird because you're the only one that doesn't seem to be going about life worry-free. We all worry. We all have problems. Talk to somebody about it. But anyway, I don't know why, honestly, guys, it occurred to me to jump on this topic tonight. I have no idea why. It just is something that I felt like talking about. A lot of times when I do these videos, I just start talking, and I see where my words lead me, and hope that they lead me somewhere coherent. Sometimes they don't, and I'll record a 20-30 minute video, and I'll just delete it and start over because I have no idea what the hell I was talking about. Anyway, this video has gone on for quite long enough, and I'm sure you're probably tired of hearing me and looking at my powerful beard. Come on, it's not that powerful, it's just full. Could be better. Anyways, guys, that's quite enough for me. I actually need to go to bed. I gotta get up kind of early tomorrow and go drive into Arlington again and go see my mother for Mother's Day. So, oh, by the way, to all you mothers out there, or soon-to-be mothers, or grandmothers, whatever, happy Mother's Day. And for everybody else, don't forget your mom. Call her, tell her you love her, that kind of thing. Even if you hate your mom. Gotta spread the love, guys. Anyways, that's all from me. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, and maybe eventually I'll start putting out videos more frequently. And I guess we'll see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.